So the thing, what exists in marriage is friendship, understanding.
Can't we get love in friendship?
Tolerance. That is what happens in marriage.
Hi, friends. I am JJ, your host on Stereo on the series. I am in studio. How are you doing? Mr. Chuks.
Oh, like,
How is Nigeria? It's a great one.
yeah.
Chuks, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Chuks Okorie. I am a businessman, a psychologist. Yeah. That's
And
a
you're a
little-
writer.
And
also a poet.
Yeah, I write.
There is this, some of your write-ups, on Facebook, on social media, it keeps one thinking, if you're a philosopher or someone who receives from the realm, to write, because your write-ups are always, very, very, deep. How is that?
How do I answer that? Okay. So the thing is, I believe that every one of us will have something to offer. But some of my writings are usually born out of many books I've actually read. Do you understand? Because there is this English saying that says, if you read 100 books, ideas will flow like river in your mind. So most times in my my leisure time, I tend to think about life, about humanity, about culture, about our environment.
Your culture is seen on what you're wearing. Culture is seen on what you're wearing.
So that is the reason I most times I write. And if I'm writing, if it is just 3 lines that I've written, I want it to sink in. I want it to evoke reaction in you.
Yeah. Okay. So Chuks, now we're here. So you've got a stereo on this program.
Okay, definitely. I'll do
So
that.
now let's talk about divorce.
Wow.
Divorce has always been, in our community, there's always been. It is a global thing. All right. So but you agree with me that it's so rampant these days. That's across board, Nigeria, everywhere. These days, it is like a second skin to everyone. It is becoming so fashionistic. It's becoming a style. It's becoming gradually a norm that we just take ourselves to court and then we divorce and then at will, and everybody goes on their way. What do you see to divorce, and why is it so rampant, in our community these days, especially in Africa?
Thank you for where you ended your submission, your question. You said especially in Africa. So the thing is that we have actually lost our sense of identity. Talking about divorce, we've lost our sense of identity. Divorce wasn't part of our culture. Do you understand? From the beginning, it wasn't part of our culture.
Oh, you mean divorce wasn't part of the African culture?
Yes, of African culture, yeah.
Really?
Yes, it wasn't part of our culture.
So, delve more.
Okay. Me as an Igbo person, I'm an Igbo guy. In the Igbo culture, when a woman leaves the father's house, the father takes her around the house and, look, this was your room. Was your room.
Was.
Yes. And you're not expected to come back here. And that is why if you see in Igbo culture, for instance, in sharing inheritance, which a lot of people have actually debated as something bad and a kick and all those things. But I believe there's something beautiful about that culture. Do you understand? So you don't have a room anymore.
That you don't share property to the daughters in the family.
Will you share a property with her in the family, and then she goes to her husband's house and share on that property? Do you understand? So these are just part of the cultural issues that declined. And when this stuff declined, our family system, everything went comatose. So addressing this issue, we need to look back at our roots, where we are coming from. Do you understand? So this is how we can address this issue. And I know some people will argue that, okay, what of a case of domestic violence? And I will still explain with Igbo culture. There's what they call the umunas.
Okay. Umunas. Okay.
Umunas. That is your kindred in Igbo culture.
Okay.
So your kindred, when your husband starts misbehaving, you're reporting to the umunas.
You report your wife to the elders. You know,
your husband.
Yes, you report
as a woman.
Okay, to the elders in the family.
Yes.
Okay, they are called the umunas.
Yes.
All right, I think we have that in the Yoruba culture too, where you have the Olori Ebi, you know, and then Olori Ebi calls the family members and to settle the matter. So, but now, Chuks, so let me paint this scenario. You see, why is it? It's a question. Why is it that when a couple, an African couple, travel from Nigeria, to the diaspora.
Okay.
And then the couple have been behaving very well here. The wife has been submissive. The husband has been, very respectful to the wife, and everything has been going on. But boom, as they got to the UK, 4 years, 5 years down the line, we then begin to hear news that someone has divorced someone, the husband has divorced the wife has divorced, the husband. And then you then begin to ask yourself the question that while you guys were in Nigeria, you were respecting your husband. The husband, you were so loving to your wife. So all of a sudden, you got to the UK, everything changed. Why is that, Chuks? Could it be environmental shift or something?
Yeah. So I'll still go back to our cultural system thing that I was discussing earlier. Now, while I was growing up, I grew up in Ibadan here, Nigeria. We were living a communal life. A communal life means that, your neighbors can actually checkmate your children, checkmate whatever that is going on around you. So we had a very fantastic culture. So, but when this brain drain thing started happening, that neo-colonialism, when we are going back, to our colonial masters, of course, something will shift, because for women, I'm sorry to say this, women, if care is not taken with them, they tend to abuse power if power is given to them.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we have women leaders all around the world who have been doing so well. So, and some of them have not abused power. So, why will you say?
So I'll still go back culturally. Culturally, women are actually meant, to not to lead from front.
Okay.
They're supposed to lead behind their husbands.
But we have women now who are bishops, who are GOs of churches, and they lead. And then, Chuks, you are a Christian. I want to believe that you're a Christian. Yes, and then you must have worshipped in a church where women lead. Like you have bishops now. You have GOs. You have leaders who are women. You understand? You must. I'm not too sure now. Must have even prayed under a woman's leadership. In church. So why will you say they are meant to lead from behind and not from the front? I'm not sure the women will want to take this lightly with you. All right?
So it is not about the correctness of what people think.
Okay?
It is you being appropriate. Okay, going by this little diversion into church.
Yeah.
Personally, if a woman is a GO of a church, I can worship in such church.
Really?
Yes. I cannot. Let me tell you the reason.
Yeah, stereo with me. Stereo. Yeah.
So the thing is, if you look at it biblically, there was no woman that was a bishop or a pastor in the Bible.
But some would now argue with you that that's Old Testament.
No, even in the New Testament.
Yeah.
If you go to the book of Timothy, where Bible talked about if you want to be a bishop, Bible says if anyone wants to be a bishop, it should be an husband of a wife, an husband of one woman, not a woman of husband.
Okay, so Chuks,
you know what I'm saying?
It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting. I'm liking it. So, are you by Anyway, linking divorce rates, in our system now, in our community, in our nation now, all right, or in Africa now, to the anomalies that is happening or that's been happening in the church, where women now lead instead of the husband. So it then probably could have turned into insubordination, even at the home. No, I mean, stereo with me.
No, it's not a matter of insubordination. But at times I see it as maybe you want to usurp the power of a man. Like I said, if you look at this thing, okay, let's go into the concept of creation, for instance. Okay. Like I'm a Christian, so I will talk as such. When God created this earth, yes, He created man first. Yes. And when God created man, what man saw was work. Okay. And then the Bible says God created woman, and then woman saw love, not work.
Okay.
And that love was resident in the hand of...
No. Say that again. Say that again. When God created the universe.
Let me make it clear.
Yes.
So when God created this universe, He created man. Yes. After He has created everything that man will need to live.
So man saw work.
There's a lot of work. You need to till the ground. You need to name the animals. You need to do a lot of things.
So man didn't see love.
He didn't see love.
Whoa.
So, but when God created a woman, the first thing a woman saw was man.
Okay. Which is love.
Okay. So, and that man is supposed to provide leadership for her. Okay. Do you understand? Okay. So this is the foundational thing from creation. So women, I'm not saying there is roles. Do you understand?
Okay, now, good. It's becoming interesting. So now, Chuks, let me give you this. Let me give you this scenario.
Okay.
Which will link us to what we've been saying. A man has been busy. Like you said, man saw work. When it was created, he didn't see love. All right? So let's say this man has been in Abuja or in Lagos or in Port Harcourt, and he's been working, or let's say he's been working with multinational, companies, or he's been busy. He hardly comes home. But this man has been very responsible, sending money home, 2 million naira, 3 million naira every month to take care of the home front, sending the money to the wife's account, and then the wife, paying for the school fees from the money the man is sending. And then the children are looking good, they are fine. The man buys cars, change cars for the wife, just for the family to be okay. But this man is in Abuja or Lagos, very busy, but he has been doing his responsibility. And then time to pay for school fees every term. All right? This man send money, at times he even send a session. But women, like I wanted to link here, and then the mother will always go to pay school fees, all right, with her name, and then when they are to write the name on the receipt of the school fees, they write her name there. Okay. So now she comes home, always letting the children know that she has been the one paying for the school fees, buying their clothes, buying their this, and then painting a picture that their father, her husband, has not been responsible, so to speak. And so the children naturally grow up with this mindset that dad was a humanizer, dad was irresponsible, dad was an alcoholic. And then, like we always see now, marriage time comes. The children are to get married, maybe the firstborn, and then they're not giving their dad some kind of attitude, which we see all over the places now. And then they not confront their dad. Dad, where were you when mom was paying our school fees? Where were you when mom was struggling? Where were you when there was nothing? Where were you when mom was buying us this? Where were you when mom was buying that? And the man was like, whoa. And then, because there has not been evidences to prove that I have been the one paying your school fees, I've just been sending the money to your mom's account. The man is helpless, perplexed. How do you see that, Chuks? So, stay with me.
This your question. This your question has so many faces. Yeah. And a lot of explanation needs to go into it.
A lot.
So, number one thing is for your woman, for your wife, to start painting a picture of irresponsibility to your children, then that means there is already a problem.
Yeah. With the man, with two of them, or with the wife?
With the marriage.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the responsibility of raising children lies with both parents.
Should we then say that the man should not go look for what
No, wait, let me make my point. Okay. So the thing is, so like I said, a woman should not take credit for what she has not done. They should rather, because they are co-partner in building that home. So anything that makes the woman to start, demonizing the husband in front of the children, that means there is already a problem. When you're asking your question, you said, okay, that the wife is telling the children that your father is a womanizer, is a drunkard, is a that. So that got me thinking, are you really a womanizer? If you are, then what conversation have you had with your wife? How did you get there? Do you understand? So, but where there is no problem like this, and then the woman is doing this, what I advocate for, and that is what I do. I pay my children's school fees.
Okay.
And
you don't send it to your wife.
No.
Okay, good.
No, at times I send it to her.
Okay.
But after sending, they will send the receipt to me. That is one. Then number two is that, okay, let's say for Christmas period or anytime I want to buy them clothing and all those things, I hand it over to them directly.
If you're saying that when you buy things, you hand it over to your children directly, instead of handing it over to your wife to then give them so that they can say thank you, Daddy. I then want to ask you this question, Chuks. Does love then exist in marriage, or is there anything called love in the first place in marriage? Because, if I am buying shoes now and I can't hand it over to my wife, who is my supposed partner, and then I'm handing it over directly to my children, all right? Have I not in a way bypassed her, to my children? Is that then anything called love in marriage, or does it even exist?
Yeah. This topic of whether love exists in a marriage or not, personally, my point of view, I feel there's nothing called marriage, love in marriage. Love is for these unmarried folks.
Love is for unmarried folks.
Yes.
You mean the bachelors and the spinsters?
Trying to, get themselves together.
I'm not sure married people at home want to take, a toll, on this.
It's just the fact.
Yeah.
So if you can't put up with the fact, then you run with lies. So the thing, what exists in marriage is friendship, understanding.
Can't we get love in friendship?
Tolerance. That is what happens in marriage. Because, like I used to say also, there's nothing that is called a successful marriage. There's nothing like that. Yes. So if you see people celebrating 30 years of being married, they're actually celebrating 30 years of friendship, 30 years of tolerance. You are tolerating her excesses, and then she too is tolerating excesses. So it is when people cannot tolerate each other anymore, that is when you have divorce. Do you understand? So it's just like that.
Chuks, are you a Christian? And are you a good Christian? When I mean good Christian, I mean born again Christian.
Yeah.
You go to church every now and then.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm a child of God.
And then you say love does not exist in marriage.
Okay.
And then when you were taking a vow with your wife, along the aisle or in the pulpit, and then for better for worse, till death do us part. And then there are some vows of love that you confess to.
So all those vows of love.
So when your wife says, I love you every morning, or you say, I love you, what do you mean when you say there's no love doesn't exist in marriage?
Okay. So by me telling my wife that I love you, I'm trying to tell her that, see, irrespective of anything you are doing, I will tolerate you. So all those commitments that I'm talking about that is in marriage, or all those vows that they take when you want to marry, for better, for worse, and all those shenanigans, all those things were not actually inside the Bible. It was designed by a certain set of people. It is not a Bible culture. And I don't even want to go into the Bible because there's a whole lot of controversies. And, you know, anything that you want to discuss that has to do with religion sparks emotion. So, and that is why I'm, you know, most time I want to, but this is stay real. So don't
Are you a cultured man? Are you a cultured man?
Yes, I'm a cultured man.
You're an Igbo man.
Yes, I'm an Igbo man, Christian.
And you're proud of, you know,
a Christian.
Because you have linked so many things to culture, tradition, and, you know, I want them when there's Mr. Chuks Okorie, you know, a Christian, because anything that has to do with culture, tradition, in this part of the world, especially in Christendom, or so some of us that are too religious, they say, oh, no. He's a cultured man. He has brought tradition. He's a traditionalist. He's a traditional man. And so God or Jesus has not asked us to do, you know, how do you then link, in a nutshell, before we go, tradition, culture, with the Christian faith?
Okay, so tradition, culture, and Christian faith. So there is a place of culture, even in the Bible. The Bible says, give culture to whom culture is due. Give respect to whom respect is due. Do you understand? And there's a place in the Bible where even Jesus himself said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Do you understand? So, and when we are talking about marriage, because I would like to marry it with marriage also. Even in marriage, all those things you see they do on the altar, they say they are joining couples. All those things are just ceremonies.
Really?
Yes. They don't join people on the altar. Where marriage...
No, hold on. They don't join people on the altar.
No, at all. All those things is just Western ceremony. The real marriage is done in the family. And if you look at the Bible, the first miracle that happened with Jesus did not happen inside the church. He went for a marriage in Cana.
Where did you join your wife?
The first marriage, my traditional marriage, that is my most important marriage.
Okay, so
that's the first one I did. Okay, so I now came back to please my wife with church marriage.
So as far as you are concerned, you have been married long after you came to church.
Yes, so I now came to church, you know, to please my wife and to spend money.
To please your wife and to spend money.
Yes, you know,
one of the Nigerian popular musicians, Two-Face, even said recently that a man should not stick, you know, to one wife. You know, well, that is his opinion, but from what you have said, and I think in the African culture, polygamy is acceptable. But before we go, I know you're a businessman. Can you just tell, you know, our friends at home, our viewers, what business you run, and then how we can link you up for your social media?
All right, my name is Chuks Okorie once again. I'm actually a businessman, a psychologist, and I'm also a social commentator. So you want to link me up, you can link me up on my Facebook handle, Chuks Okorie. You see one young guy that is putting on white and a tie. On my Instagram handle is Chuks.Okorie. My parting word is this for you viewers. Men, I want you to take good care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Get involved in your children's life so that you will not cry at night. Thank you very much.
Men, take care of yourself. Get involved. I like that. Get involved in your children's life. So I'm taking that advice. I'm taking care of myself. And till I see you again on this same program, stay real with me. My name remains JJ.